Alright everybody, welcome back to another Dokkan Battle video. Now, there's been a lot of discussion on what hidden potential that you should do for God Goku, and I kind of wanted to just look at the events that we have right now, look at what his kit is and what might benefit more, maybe just get kind of like basically I'm trying to go into this unbiased and trying to get as much information as possible so that way when you do put your hidden potential into this unit or you put your equipment into them, the team battles coming up, you can do it with a clear and informed kind of opinion or mind. So obviously we know that God Goku stacks. We obviously know that his intro runs out after 6 turns. He obviously wants the 6 key spheres to be able to get his both additional super attack and his guard. You know that, of course, the 50% attack isn't as much as the 100% on super, and that you probably see him around like above 10 million with the intro, and then as soon as the intro runs out, it's probably like the 6 million, 7 million range. And then again, looking back at over here, attack and defense raise on super, from the crit, the K +2 and 159% attack and defense, the more defense and attack on super, then the guaranteed additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. So let's just kind of go ahead and start with the beginning. So God Goku needs to be able to do 4 or more super attacks, and then after that he does the skill. Obviously after the 5th turn as well, but most of the time you're going to be able to hit this. Like this is an easy active skill condition for sure. Getting 2 super attacks, especially with getting the 6 key spheres, is more than free for sure. So that's gonna be easy to just go ahead and swap and get the critical hit and stuff like that. Now, this is kind of where everybody's opinions kind of differ, I would say, because there's a lot of different routes that you can take. One of the routes that you can take is mostly dodge, which I've seen popular YouTubers like The Truth go for, saying that most of the time he's a defensive unit, so you want him to be able to defend, especially here when he only gets his great chance of evading before attacking, so he is somewhat liable after his transformation, after he attacks. Now keep in mind, I want to say around 4 to 5 stacks, and even at 55%, you're going to see pretty high attack stats, somewhere around 800k to million, depending on how lucky you get with super attacks, as well as how lucky you get with dupes, and if you go for attack or defense. And then again, he does get the defense on the super, so it's just like if you can get the 2 or 3 supers as well. Then the other kind of statement is, well, I want, or Vector, for example, is saying, no, actually you should be going mostly crit, because most of the time you're going to be in God form, because you're going to be into this until the 5th turn. And even then, you don't have to transform because you aren't necessarily forced, quote unquote, to transform until turn 6, I would say. Because then that's when you stop orb changing and you have to get really lucky in terms of orbs, or have a rainbow support, or rainbow orb changer, or any orb changer for that matter. But then let's look at the other side as well, which is people who are saying that you need to go mostly additional, that you get all of your defense from super, which helps him out in the long run, because when bosses are going to start hitting harder and harder, you're going to have to rely on that additional attack more often. Right now he's more than free and easy on tanking most of this stuff, because as I've shown in my video, his defense stacking is on the same tier as Agio Gohan, Vegeta, and Trunks. Just units like that who build up defense, he's doing a similar, if not better job than them. So let's look at some of the events that we have. So we have stuff like red zone, of course, where most of the time you're going to be around maybe 8 turns for this. It really depends on how lucky you can get with super attacks and stuff. This, I would probably say like each phase takes around, this will probably take 1, 2, 2, unless you get really lucky, and this can take 1 and then 2 to 3. So on average, like 7 turns. So again, this will most likely run out on the last turn that you have them on. You transform, boom, Super Saiyan Goku, boom, you hopefully kill. Not always, but you hopefully kill. And go into something like the Army Red Zone, where this one is just more so like, depending on what your rotations are, this can take around like 5 to 6 turns as well. This can take anywhere between 6 to 7. This more just, this is, even though this is a lot of phases, it is mostly easy, I would say, with it taking around maybe 7, 8. Got over here, GT Red Zone as well. This is more RNG dependent on how the first phase goes, because the first phase could take anywhere between 2 to 3 turns. Then the second phase, 2 to 3 turns, 2 to 3 turns as well for Shenron. So again, around like 6 turns. Well, there's a mission as well for the 7 turns. So it's just like, we'll say that that's average. This is 7 turns. We'll get over here. I don't think they actually had you do this in a certain amount of turns, yeah. But the Broly one had you do it in 8 turns. So we'll say 7 and 8 for the average of these, because they obviously want you to kind of clear it fast with those ones. So 7 and 8. We look at the Metal Cooler Core Red Zone. This one can take, honestly, the 3 turns is guaranteed for the start. And then this is more so just like another 3 to 4 turns as well. This isn't too hard, so I guess I won't really be looking at that. Well, for Cooler though, this can take like 5 to 6 turns as well. Gonna look at the Anniversary Battle. This isn't on Global, but I do have a friend who does play JP who did let me know what his experiences were with and the teams that he used. Now, I specifically asked him to do the 7th and 8th anniversary ones, since I assumed that those are probably the most, or the most difficult, I would say. And I actually pulled up the screenshots right here. So for the DT1, he was obviously going to kill here. You know, you can see the skill was most likely going to kill. Then we can go over here again. Gogeta is pretty low. Got the skill again. So it's just like, depending on how, yes, depending on how offensive based your team can, because Gogeta and Vegito are very offensive units, like popping out multiple additional attacks and popping out super effective against all types, crits, etc., so, active skills and all that. So if you have something like that, you can get them down to 8 turns basically. And then we can look at stuff like SBR, where most of the time you're definitely going to be done by turn 6, I would say. But, and even though as of right now it isn't the hardest content, we can't tell what it's going to look like in the future. If maybe it's going to get revamped so that way it's even harder, if we're going to have it where you can only use 2 items instead of 4, or something along those lines in the future. I do know that one of my friends said as well that I can't remember which red zone, I'm sorry, not which red zone, which either extreme or regular SBR was starting to hit over 1 million turn 1. So it's like, of course you're going to have all of those stunners and attack lowers and stuff like that. That is something to keep in mind, is that SBR and EX SBR can always turn into a difficult event later on, and these ones are more fast-paced. And then we have the Shadow Dragon Backfire. Again, I'm a global player, but I heard the same thing from the friend as well, saying that this will take on average like 7 to 8 turns. Really depends. So now that we can see the stuff, we can know that most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, your intro is going to wear out. So we're going to have it where both the attack and the key sphere changing is going to stop. He still is going to be able to super relatively easy, mostly because of his key, as well as just him having pretty solid links that you're definitely going to proc. He has 3 key links. You're going to be fine with key. Even after transforming, key is definitely not going to be an issue. Like shocking speed, some golden warrior, prepare for battle. It's still, you're going to be relatively fine. But so now, like I was saying, now that we know that a lot of the difficult content is most likely going to have it where you're below the 6 turns or just barely above it, I think that is something to keep in mind. So it really depends on how much dupes and how much defensive equipment or stuff that you can put into this guy. But on average, he's getting, from my personal experience, I think it was like 2. Actually, let me just pull it up real quick. I'm gonna pull up how much defense I was getting per super with God Goku. I'm gonna pull up my video real quick. So this is after getting the 6 orbs. Here, I can just go back to kind of prove it as well. Oops. So I went 4. Right here, we can see that we get way more than 6 orbs, and we are getting around the 169k defense. This is 55%. Oh, now let's kind of go ahead and use it here. Just see. Okay, it was with Gohan. Okay, let's go back. 266, and then that was with the 6 orbs as well, right? Just make sure. Yeah, it was 6 orbs as well. Let's go back and then see how much supers that he actually performed. So, actually, let me check the defense first, just to kind of confirm. The 237. Let's go back. 169. So was that an 80, 70 a defense increase? Let's see how much supers we did. Got the one right there, 4.5, and then the one right there, 4.7. Just make sure that there was any third super or anything like that. It was just 2 supers. So there you go. He's getting around 70 to 80k defense after 2 supers. We'll say that he gets like 35k defense on supers free to Link 1. So basically, if you triple super with him, he's getting around 100k defense. And then, as you can see with the attack stat as well, it didn't go back. Nope. It goes after that. 4.5, and then I think it was 4.2 before. Now let's look at the attack stat here. This is the other rotation, my bad. Okay. So it was 4.7 before, and then it turned into, come on. Alright, there. Just scroll up like 5 seconds. 4.7 turned into 5.5. That was with the support on rotation though. That is also something to keep in mind with the defense increase, I guess, as well. Then 5.5 turned into 5.7. So around like 200k. And then let's see what he looks like after his third. Because do we actually live this turn? Okay, 300k. And that was with the 6 orbs, I'm assuming. Yeah, that was with 6 orbs. So again, I get just like around 100k. like how I was saying. But then again, the Vegeta was on rotation, so it's just like that's also support. So let's go ahead. Now let's see how much damage we're doing after the 5th super attack. So 6.3. Then this is where the damage boost comes in. 6.5. That was the 5th super attack, so I'm not sure. Yeah, that was the 5th super attack. What is that? No, that's the front one. Okay. Then yeah, so like 55% he's hitting what, 5 million, 6 million supers. Again, that was Link level 1. I'm sure I could pull up a Link 10 video and kind of like get that too, but so now we can see how much the defense and the attack kind of increases based on just the 55%. Of course, with dupes it would be a lot higher, which again, something to keep in mind. But with the only thing I will say though is that with the transformation, I'm almost positive I did. See, that was with what, the 7 supers or something I was just talking about. As you can see, we take 100 times that because he gets 100% on super. That would be 760, and then he gets the 30% defensive raises. So it kind of proves my point. Be around 900k, 1 million plus, depending on how lucky you get with the supers. Now I'm almost positive I died here because I didn't dodge. Did I get God Goku? The Shay at all? The other ones? Just kind of want to check real quick. Okay, we did get God Goku. What was his defense here too? Check the defense. Check the defense. Please. Please tell me I check the defense. If not, I would have to go like really slowly because I do know that I clicked on it. Check the defense. Don't click on it. You check the defense. God damn it. Okay, let's see. I think I pulled it up for like 1 second. Okay, it's gonna be hard to time. You know what? Let me just do it. Flip like speed. Alright, 350k. There we go. Again, times 100, 700k, plus is 30%, around 800k, stuff like that. And then if we look, that was definitely more than 5 supers, obviously. And we technically still have the support on rotation. I don't remember if Vegeta already got attacked before this, but then looking at his defense, or not defensive stat, offensive stat, but 4 million. Which is just like, I don't know. Personally, I think they could have done a little bit more with this attack, but that's not okay. So yeah, when he does transform, his attack is severely lowered, but the trade-off is that you auto crit for 3 turns, and then your type effect against all types again on the 4th turn. So it's like. And then you're obviously never going to see this done, by the way, like ever. But yeah. So yeah, as you can see, his attack stats, even at 55%, he's doing more on turn 1 without any stacks as God Goku than he is doing 6 stacks plus as SSJ. And yeah, the trade-off is again auto crits, but gotta kind of weigh it out. So if you do go more additional, you're gonna see that attack raise more, you're gonna see that defense raise more. It's gonna matter and help a lot when you transform, because you're gonna not only be able to do more damage with the active skill, but you're also gonna be able to do more damage, hopefully, with your additional. And it wouldn't matter if you're going additional, because you're going to get both the defense and attack raise here, and you're going to get the defense and attack raise here. If you go for something like the build for the Vector, like I was saying, for example, you're going to get most of the crits on here, and that's where it's going to come into play a lot, where you're just going to be critting from turn 1 to 6. That's where you're going to be doing the most damage. That's where you're going to be doing a lot of the what's it called? You're going to get a little bit less stacking, most likely, but you are going to be doing a lot more damage because of it. Let's see. Is this for the one with Rainbow Goku? There's just Rainbow Goku, but that's support rotation. You can check the defense there, buddy? Okay, well, I'm assuming I did it. I did do it before. Okay, what was the defense? Turn 1, 200k. And then how much was the super? Dodge, 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 dodge. You gonna dodge this? I think he dodged that. Yeah, he just dodged everything. That was really cool. 7 million. And what was the second additional like? 7.5. You could probably assume a 7.7 is what the third super would have been like. 7.8. Wow, I actually lowballed that. It's crazy. So yeah. So I think it really depends. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's going to be according to what your play style is and what you think is best. If you're asking as a general kind of build, or not, you're trying to do just like a general event where it doesn't matter if you're doing EXSPR, if you're doing Red Zone, if you're doing collection of battles, I guess, if you're doing what is it called? What is the 8th anniversary? Is it just called 8th anniversary? Yeah, 8th anniversary battle. If you're doing the Shadow Dragon battle, I think the gets most optimal, quote unquote, build would probably be to go full additional. It's hard to decide, because no matter what, something is going to be unused in the end, I would say. If you're building full additional, you're most likely going to proc the second additional attack, just because you're going to be launching an additional attack here, you're going to be launching an additional attack here. If you go for the crit build, you're going to be 100% fine in all of this, because there's no crit effective, there's no crits, there's no nothing to help you out while in Super Saiyan God form. But then you go into Super Saiyan form and you're critting for 3 turns. So the crit is all wasted, basically. And if you go for full dodge, you have not only the dodge for getting you not only have a medium chance of dodging just right out the gate, and you also get another medium chance to dodge just with 3 orbs, which you're almost always going to get consistently. There is never a time where you're going to get less than 3 orbs. So we'll say that you always have the 60% dodge chance. So that's something, again, another ability wasted if you go for full dodge. And if you go for, the only thing is that once you transform and then go into this after your attack, it would be the best, because then you lose the dodge chance, and then boom, immediately your dodge that you built into Goku is going to come into play and hopefully help him dodge any super attacks while being able to tank the normals due to him having over the 800k defense post super. But it's just, I would definitely say it's just hard to decide. It's more just up to what your, I guess, your play style is. If you're going to be wanting to defeat the enemy as fast as possible, do you think the crit build is going to help a lot? Even with the 6 million, 7 million, eventually 10 million once you get the 5th turn and get the 5th super in, its crits is going to help a lot. 23 crit chance, 23, 25 crit chance, whatever. You're going to be hitting 50% crits, so most of the time you're going to be hitting super hard. And not only that, but having guaranteed additional supers is definitely going to help build that damage for sure, because 10 million is already hitting pretty hard. I get hit with that twice. Even 3 times if you're just regular 5 additional is able to proc. And then if you do something like the additional build, it is going to help you in the future events. Again, eventually he is more than fine to be able to tank anything in the game right now. But when the time comes and his defense needs to be at a certain point, and it's not at a certain point with just 2 supers and you have to rely on that 3rd super, it is going to future-proof the unit. And then the dodge build is just kind of, if you're planning on using this guy in more difficult content that can take a lot of more turns. So like how I was saying with something like the Broly red zone, how this can take around 8 turns, like how the mission shows. But this, these red zones don't take that long. The cell one might take 8 turns, but it's not that difficult. How Shenron can take around 7 turns, I think. Yeah, around the 7 turns. How this one you will say is also the 7 turns as well, even though I don't think it. But that we'll say 8 turns. Okay, oh, fine. 5 turns. I'm sorry, stage 5 with 8 turns. So again, intro wears off on turn 6. Boom, you don't have it anymore. 8 turns. 8 turns. So this is 8 turns. Again, 7, 8 turns. So it's just like, it can help protect that unit once you do transform. Now, one thing I don't see discussed too often is just not transforming the unit. And with that playstyle, I do think that additional, or like half additional, half crit build does work. Where if you just don't plan on going in Super Saiyan, if you're just like, I'm only going in Super Saiyan if it's a guaranteed kill, and if not, I'm resetting the turn, or somebody like that, then I think just going probably even mostly additional is probably the route. Just because the defense raises is a tremendous help, and it's going to help you keep up with the other. It's going to help you keep up with the other additional units. He's going to be dodging most of the time, so even if you're not able to tank supers in the future, you can hopefully rely on the 60% chance to dodge. The crit's going to help you at least do more damage, even if it's not guaranteed. So it's like, again, at the end of the day, I do think it is I don't think there's a sort of wrong builds to go here. If you want to go full additional to help him build his defense, go ahead and do that. If you want to go for full crits so that way you can maximize his damage, go for that. If you want to do full dodge so that way when you do transform with God Goku and you go into Super Saiyan, that he could hopefully be more, I guess, reliable. Even though I think with like full dodge you're only going to get like a 20% chance, depending on what build you go. But and then I guess to slightly help him out, but I think the 60% chance isn't going to really help out, even if you do go into the dodge. Make sure it's going to be bumped up to like 65, 66 percent. Again, I do hope that this helped you guys out when you do decide what to build your God Goku. If you have any thoughts and opinions on this, if you think that I was wrong in a certain area, if I didn't discuss something thoroughly, if you what build would you go, or what build did you go on your God Goku? What equipment did you put on them? What equipment are you planning to put on them now that Chain Battle is getting updated with the level 6 equipment? But yeah, just let me know in the comments. But hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.